Roman Catholic apologists will argue Jerome eventually submitted to the authority of the Church on the so-called Deuterocanon, the 7 extra books in Catholic Bibles, including Dr. Taylor Marshall and Jimmy Akin from Catholic Answers in an article he wrote, quote, Jerome's deference to church authority was also illustrated when he later defended the deuterocanonical portions of Daniel, writing, quote, what sin have I committed in following the judgment of the churches, end quote, against Rufinus, Book 2, Section 33. However, Jerome wasn't defending this Greek addition to Daniel and changed his mind that it was part of the biblical canon. Rather, Jerome was defending the particular Greek version that was read in the churches, which he wrote in this same section of Against Rufinus. Quote, I also told the reader that the version read in the Christian churches was not that of the Septuagint translators, but that of Theodotion. It is true, I said, that the Septuagint version was in this book very different from the original and that it was condemned by the right judgment of the churches of Christ. But the fault was not mine who only stated the fact, but that of those who read the version. We have 4 versions to choose from, those of Aquila, Symmachus, the 70, meaning the Septuagint, and Theodotion. The churches choose to read Daniel in the version of Theodotion, end quote. So Jerome was simply defending the Theodosian version of the book of Daniel, which the churches chose to read. Not that he was defending the canonicity of the deuterocanonical additions to Daniel, let alone the entire Deuterocanon. Nor was he submitting deference to church authority on the canon, nor anything else. Sadly, Roman Catholic apologists such as Dr. Taylor Marshall and Jimmy Akin are aware of the rest of what Jerome wrote, considering it was in the same section they took Jerome's single quote out of context to defend their view about Jerome. But they chose not to mention this when they assumed Jerome changed his mind on the Deuterocanon, when Jerome simply followed the judgment of the churches, when in reality Jerome was merely defending a particular Greek translation of Daniel being read in the churches. Click the link on the screen where I demonstrate when other contemporary Roman Catholic apologists also attempted to argue Jerome changed his mind on the canonicity of these books. When pressed to give examples of those in the church age who argued that he did, they provided no historical evidence prior to the 20th century, but rather they provided nothing but dead air.